Good evening, and welcome to a special taping of the Let's Ruin Our Lives podcast. I am your host, Joshua Hensley, always driving women into a frenzy. You see, with me, I have candles and a cloak today. That makes me a different kind of man, a different kind of bloke. Fam, tonight we will be doing things a little differently, a little more macabre, a little bit of menace, a touch of the madness. Combined with On the Road by Jack Kerouac, because I am incapable of being original and I hate myself. This is episode number 1 of the Let's Ruin Our Lives short story hour, aka video book time, aka I just realized we can also make audio only content. So this is the part of the show where we roast the shit out of something one of us wrote in the past, when we used to be poets and artists, when we used to believe in things, when we used to have one soul.
I thought this was an
story
ASMR session shit.
The story we will be reading tonight is entitled Attempted Delivery by Joshua Hunter Hensley. Myself, an utter failure of a man and writer, musician, and artist.
I agree.
And hopefully, in the future, one of the members of the Wu-Tang Clan. And you're not fucking invited, Jesse.
Wait,
and with no further bullshit.
One of the future members of the Wu-Tang Clan? Damn,
Yes.
bro.
I'm taking over.
I'll try not to
You
fuck
heard it
with
first, RZA. And so with no further bullshit from me, well, a lot more bullshit from me, I'm sorry, guys. Here it is, in the words of the late, great Irish bard, take it easy, but take it. Mahalo. Attempted delivery. Cut.
Cool. You can take off your hood again if you need to, Josh. It's very stylish, though.
It's a whole Jedi costume.
Mm-hmm. We love
Just not wearing the whole
a cult
thing.
member.
What you drinking there, Josh?
He's got 2 drinks. He's got water, and then I assume the goblet's full of alcohol.
I have vodka and seltzer with a little bit of Monster in it.
Okay. Going hard over here, I see it.
And then I have White Claw in my goblet of magic
White Claw.
of the spooky.
Witch's brew, I see.
Don't you guys just want to like fuck off and listen to Bob with the Bob for the rest of the time that we hang out?
I'd rather listen to Limp Bizkit in his country era.
What? What?
I didn't even know that was.
Oh my god, Fred Durst is in his country era right now. I shit you not right now. It's great.
What's that called? Limp and Cookie?
You wish. Not bad for the first one
So
off the
I don't know. It keeps cutting out on your
on
end.
your end? I mean, like, it's Discord. Like, it's on this
Yeah.
end, we're being recorded fine. On your end, it might be cutting out, but
Okay.
that'll have to do with your internet, though. So,
Yeah.
no, we're peaking just fine. Everything's being recorded just fine. You're not breaking up. Everything's good.
Brother, we peaked a long time ago.
Man,
Speaking of which, everybody here's a story I wrote a long time ago. Here it is. Whatever. Make of it what you will. It's called Attempted Delivery.
we're going to read a story, guys.
You guys ready?
Everyone sit down, grab your popcorn, get your animal crackers. Let's all sit crisscross applesauce, and let's do this.
Animal crackers. I like that. Okay. If you met an alien and got to know them like on a friend-like basis without all the weird shit, and like hung out with them and stuff, what would you do to get them to know, to understand like the human race, like intimately, like to know?
Get them fucked up on alcohol.
Guys, you gotta laugh. Quietly. They all laughed quietly, the 3 of them not asleep. For the past 6 hours, they had been silent, with only the road and occasional sounds of snores disturbing the air. The tension had just been relieved or put aside, however, when Ontario asked that strange question, and Cortez had responded immediately.
Damn it, motherfucker. Oh, shit. Just corrupt the other race right away, huh?
Beautiful.
Lana said.
Yep, this is humans we're talking about.
Exclaimed Cortez.
Come on, Lana.
He smiled vibrantly and slightly askew. She smiled in the rearview mirror back at him. The laughter kept a steady pace for the next few hours, with Cortez and Lana bantering amiably and Ontario always poking fun for what he considered to be fun's sake. Brandon slept in the front passenger seat, totally unaware of the silence that had overtaken the car previously, sending it into a dimension filled with the perpetual vibrations of hidden resentment. He was lucky in this way, because it would never be brought up between the four of them, collectively, again. The night sky was breaking away in the distant Sonoran horizon. Rather, it was being broken apart by the arrival of the first few rays of light, tearing the darkness away from itself. Now one could begin to see the sharp, harsh landscape, a place incapable of the non-miraculous. To survive in a desert is a testament to nature itself, and a challenge even to those with no known natural enemies. Purple and gray spread each other across the short, wide dunes, through the stretches of wash, in the pools of mud, and slowly glistening sand. Gold lay upon the face of the cacti and trees and bushes. If animals stirred, it was random families of quails or a coyote or two. It is an epic silence in the desert morning, with the world being revealed and opened up like a crab, which is not a desert animal. For the passengers in the car, and for the driver as well, the road trip had only really just begun.
How far is Phoenix from here?
Asked Cortez. Not far, answered Ontario.
It's about 150 more.
Commit.
It's about 150 more miles from here.
This is great.
Insisted Lana. She glanced at Ontario in the mirror, and he stuck out his tongue at her. She laughed, smiled, and said,
That's on you.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah. You still got, like, there's another line at the end of that.
"What the hell?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What the hell?
Brandon stirred in his seat, seeming to waken.
Hey, you.
Lana shook his shoulder and patted him brusquely on the chest.
You joining?
Jesse, I barely met you today.
He made a short, muffled sound. Ontario turned to Cortez
I
and
didn't
said,
say that
"Did you
shit."
bring?
I didn't say that shit.
Did you bring your drum?" Cortez
Yeah, sorry, I gotta pull up the line. Yeah,
answered Cortez quickly.
I got that, and a tambourine and your Glock and whatever.
"Cool, tight. Can't wait to get there."
Really?
Did you? I didn't hear. Did you say really?
I did say really, and I'll say it again.
Okay.
Really?
Flagstaff. I mean, it's pretty cool up there.
That's what you keep saying.
What are you talking about?
Asked Lana from the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Brandon nearly shouted, rousing himself from sleep. Ontario said, "Getting a flag. Should be fun, right?"
Yeah.
Lana and Brandon exclaimed simultaneously.
Really?
Yeah, it was a test. Simultaneous secret. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's a yeah. It's a yeah. It's a yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Lana and Brandon exclaimed simultaneously.
Really?
Said Cortez.
What's so great about it?
Lana said.
It's just a cool place.
Brandon nodded.
Oh, that's
The
me.
people are chill.
Oh,
That's you, yeah.
Lana still. Okay.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you're confusing that. Brandon nods and then the line goes on.
I could have wrote this better.
Yeah, I mean,
The people are chill, and there's some art and stuff.
A lot of travelers, said Ontario. Brandon said.
yeah, and a lot of hot chicks.
Said
Well, it sounds cool.
Cortez.
I can't wait to get there.
They continued in conversation like this for 2 more hours until they stopped for breakfast at a Jack in the Box off the 17 highway. All except Brandon had not slept since they left Los Angeles late last night. They had smoked some weed, which Brandon did before they ate, and Ontario had drank a few beers. While Lana used the restroom, the guy smoked some more, and looking out the window of the car, enjoyed the large open sky in the middle of the city of Phoenix, Arizona. The voluminous clouds moved east, showing signs of rain upon the southern part of the valley. It was winter, so the temperature had not yet again reached for comparisons to the killing power of the sun. They remarked how nice it was, if not just a tad cold. It's not like this in LA, said Ontario. The sky.
No,
Cortez and Brandon said at the same time.
not at all.
Lana resumed her place behind the wheel and started the car.
Okay.
She basically yelled.
Are you boys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
She exited the parking lot and got back on the freeway. It was 2 more hours to Flagstaff. Their purpose for the trip was mainly to attend a music festival and then to meet up with some of Lana and Brendan's friends and party and possibly camp with them. Ontario had a bag of mushrooms with him, but only Cortez knew this. Lana kept insisting to do things her way, and they all more or less obliged. Their attitude was hopeful and optimistic. It was Cortez's first time to Flagstaff, and the other 3 were looking forward to showing him a pleasant, if not wild, time. The car was now brimming with excitement and Jack-in-the-Box. They smoked cigarettes, except Brandon, making sure to not throw the butts out the window. The car had a slightly musky smell to it, a mixture of tobacco, marijuana, inexpensive beer, and body spray. Though that last odor was unexplainable, as Ontario had pointed out, as no one there wore anything like that.
Maybe it's the incense or the candle.
Wondered Lana. The passengers nodded in humble affirmation. Ontario, looking out the window and feeling a little nauseous, said, "My friend Potter died outside of Flagstaff. He was coming to stay at my pad. I didn't know, but he had stayed there before with his lady and their kid, and another chick. She was kind of hot." Lana scoffed in amusement at that last statement. "Yeah," said Ontario, "I know, but yeah, it was really sad. It is really sad." Yeah, all 4 of them said. It seemed they reflected for a minute or two, but not in melancholy. Hope was in all their hearts and a strong desire among all 4 to get very, very drunk and high. Brandon had a girl he was planning on meeting at the festival and had informed the other 3 that he might sleep at her place, depending on how their evening went. The other 3 were fine with this and encouraged him to do so. Lana patted him on the back and affirmed his capability for following through with that plan. Humor was shared due to this. Cortez asked Ontario for a cigarette. "Buy another pack, yeah? If you keep asking," Ontario said.
Yeah, of course.
Cortez said quickly. They had been friends for a long time. Erroneous. As they drove past Sedona, the windows became noticeably cooler to the touch. Lana rolled down her window, stuck out her fingertips, and commented that the air felt icy. Brandon said that could mean snow up in Flagstaff, and Lana seemed absolutely stunned. Ontario chuckled to himself over Lana's reaction, having very deep and complicated feelings about her. She and Brandon continued a conversation that Ontario had absolutely no interest in. Cortez was breaking up weed in preparation for a blunt, and he and Ontario talked in the manner of best friends. That is to say, whenever they felt like it, and very brotherly, violence and all. The ground had become densely populated with trees and grass, and Cortez said,
What? This is Arizona?
he laughed, mostly to himself,
I know, right?
said Brandon.
Oh, Cortez. Oh, yeah. You never been here before. Huh?
Said Lana.
I love it here. It's why I got an Arizona tattoo. It's an interesting place. I met so many cool people. What the fuck? But not,
Lana, you crazy girl. Keep going.
Wild over here.
but not in the summer. Then it's just hot.
She accidentally threw her cigarette out of the window,
Damn it.
she said flatly.
Sometimes in summer.
Are you drunk? Ontario asked Lana. He took a drink of beer.
No, are you?
Ha ha, he said. She squinted at him in the mirror.
Where's the necklace I gave you?
I forgot it, sorry. Cortez and Brandon laughed. Brandon more softly and Cortez in a great guffaw.
Oh boy.
The four had spent enough time around one another to be comfortable and friendly, often teasing each other as well as helping each other out from time to time, really stressing the importance of friendship here in the narration of this writing material. Lana threw a towel at Ontario, told him to wash up, and everyone in the car found that hilarious.
By the way, Josh is just adding lines to this story right now, trying to interject this narration of a monologue over here, which you could definitely tell that this is a short story written without any editing or anything like that. But let's go.
Yeah, there was some editing, but drunken editing for sure.
Spelling maybe
not enough. I know. I wrote this 10 years ago. Looking back, I'm like, oh my god, what a douchebag.
It's got the cringe to it,
okay,
just a little bit, you know.
It's okay. I can still see it being made into like a stupid short film.
I am the Brandon in this story, and I'm also portraying him now. So
it's meta.
It's so meta. This is how I act in real life, by the way, guys. Every word, every.
All right.
Yeah, I think I nailed the Brandon character. It was now half an hour away from Flagstaff, and then suddenly, there they were. As they turned onto Route 66 into downtown, Lana received a call on her phone. She looked at it and, perturbed, said,
"What the hell?"
Ricardo's calling me right now.
It's called a dramatic pause, asshole. Ricardo's calling me right now.
Brandon said,
Ha, that's funny.
"Fucking psychics," said Ontario. He and Brandon laughed. Cortez, with his Tourette's, squirmed his arm just around just a little bit and smiled at his weed. Lana shifted and answered. From what the others could hear, engaging Lana's reactions, it sounded as though there was to be a major change in plans. Seeming suddenly exhausted, Lana hung up and told them the news she had just received. They weren't to head immediately to the festival as intended, but to drive 40 more miles east to Lana's friend's cabin. Against the flabbergasted questions and outright stubborn objections, she insisted that it was totally necessary to go through with it, for she had a surprise gift waiting for them all at said cabin. Her friend, who was to bring them the gift with them to the festival, had become stranded there, and the four of them had to go and pick them up. The three men acquiesced, and Lana headed east on Route 66. Well, the fest is like pretty close to there anyways, right? Ontario asked.
Yeah, totally.
Lana and Brandon said together. Lana said,
"It's up to some mountains anyways. It'll be dark when we get there. Though, Ricardo will know how to get there."
She drove and felt optimistic. Given the time of the late morning and the lack of travel, she felt they'd be able to accomplish all they had planned, even if it meant driving some 40 miles out of the way round trip. The festival was 20 miles east from Flagstaff, up some mountain, and there was no way she wasn't going to spend time with Ricardo, so it made the detour worth it to her. Ontario knew her intentions and was only mildly jealous and angry because of them. He and Lana had been convenient and codependent lovers for each other, even living together in the past. He was content on this road trip, so long as he could get a chance to eat the mushrooms he had, and maybe get to share them with his fellow travelers and their friends. He wondered what surprise gift Lana could possibly have waiting for them with her new man, as he referred to them. End quote. Finally beginning to smoke his blunt, Cortez took fucking 2 hours for him to roll a blunt. Cortez stared out the window thinking about what his dog was doing at the moment back home in Los Angeles. He had just given birth to 5 beautiful puppies, and he wasn't quite sure what to do with them. He didn't want to give them up to a shelter, but he felt he might have to if nobody would take them.
I feel like
he passed a blunt to Lana.
Story later, I just feel it.
He passed a blunt to Lana and kept staring out the window, this time thinking about changing the sound of the wheels on the road and the wind itself into elaborate tribal drum music. He was an excellent self-taught percussionist. Brandon saw a fly on his knee, and he thought to himself, "What right do I have to kill another life form?" He then fell back asleep. It was a good 6 miles of dirt road from the highway to the cabin, and Ricardo was not there. Lana got a text from him explaining that he had gone to the creek and would be back in a few hours. She became pretty angry, as they all did, but decided to break into the cabin and hang out there until Ricardo returned. It was easy to do, as all the windows were open. No neighbors were visible in any direction, the cabin smelling and feeling much like the ponderosa pines surrounding it. Lana explained that Ricardo had inherited the place from his late father and that he had no car and spent much of his time living in the forest, hopping trains and sustaining his survival by means of hunting, gathering, and going into the nearest town to panhandle. The three guys were looking forward to meeting him. He wouldn't be fazed to find them inside. What's up?
I'm just adding commentary. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Lana paced around the cabin. Hours passed. Occasionally she'd be heard to mutter, Occasionally she could be heard to mutter,
Where's the flight? Where do you put the gift?
The others, still unaware about what she was talking about, raided the refrigerator to a polite degree, and Ontario revealed to everyone in the living room that he had with him psychedelic mushrooms.
What the fuck?
Screamed Lana.
This gift is acid. The fucking surprise I have for you guys is acid.
The three were taken aback. Ontario said, "But I thought you didn't want to do any hallucinogens. Now you have acid."
I don't have acid necessarily. Ricardo has the acid, or at least has it here. Just want to do it is all.
Lana said.
It's been a long time.
Blinking, Ontario responded, "That's totally fine with me. I'm just surprised is all." He knew it was because of Ricardo that she would even consider taking acid at all. He must have appeared cool enough about it and been more than handsome enough to get Lana to completely betray her prior stated convictions, wherever she had met him, or she was just horny. Either way, how Ontario looked at it was that he should say nothing more anywhere near the opposite of what Lana wanted. Otherwise, all might turn sour again as it had at the start of the trip. He wanted no part of that negativity to return. Ontario repressed his envy, looked the others in the eyes, and said, "Cool. Are we going to combine them?"
Fuck no.
Said Cortez.
I'm down.
Said Brandon.
I don't know.
Lana said apprehensively. Ontario got up from the couch and stirred the fire they had started in the hearth. He wished he had brought a sweater with him and regretted the wearing of shorts. He said nothing for a few minutes with the other three, watching him from behind. Suddenly, he turned around and said, "I'm going to. It's dark outside, or will be soon. I wonder if we're even going to the show or whatever, but I'm going to take mushrooms and then acid. Many thanks to you, Lana."
You're welcome.
She said, scratching her left arm, suppressing a small amount of rage. "And you can all share in the mushrooms, and Ricardo when he shows up. Even you, Cortez, if you want. I'm thirsty. Thank you," he said as Cortez passed him a drink. Brandon clapped his hands and smiled at Ontario. That caused Lana to laugh as if she had just witnessed the funniest thing to ever occur in existence. Cortez let out a guffaw and lit the second blunt of the day. Ontario accepted the second hit of it.
You're welcome.
Cortez said, and the four shared the smoke, which drifted out the open portals into the darkening forest outside. "Did you explain to him that we're waiting here for a lot of hours now and that I'm drunk?" Ontario asked of Lana.
Yes. I'm just not sure if I have a signal or not here.
He pressed invisible buttons on her touchscreen phone. "Are you hungry?" Ontario asked.
No, thank you, though.
Half smiled, smirked.
You and Cortez and Brandon made a good dinner for Ricardo's food.
That's like four different accents. Awesome. Cortez said, buzzed.
Well, that motherfucker's not here. What are we supposed to do?
They all laughed. And Brandon said matter-of-factly,
Punk rock. He gets it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Lana said.
Crusty motherfucker.
So what's his deal? Ontario inquired. He likes having people squat in his house?
Who doesn't? You do.
Lana said. They drank Ricardo's rum and chased it with the good beers they'd brought. It had grown complete night again, and there was no hope in attending the music festival outside of Flagstaff. The four were happy to be where they were, even if it was in someone's cabin without their presumed knowledge. Well, I'm going to eat some shrooms, spoke up Ontario. Cortez requested some, as did Brandon, and Lana said she'd hold off for the moment. She'd prefer to see what happened when Ricardo arrived. The three guys ate an eighth each, drinking Sunny Delight and sparking a bowl immediately thereafter. Yeah. Lana felt only a slight unease, having done psychedelics before, though not for at least 10 years since her last experience. She felt that the acid might give an exhilarating euphoria and delight, as opposed to the despair and apathy she'd felt since her divorce years ago. Mushrooms could prove too unsatisfactory and earthy, while acid was sure to fuck her mind up somehow in the outer zone. Plus, Ricardo could prove to be an ultimate temporary distraction from her self-imposed plight. She was hoping for that. The guys sat quietly after they had eaten the mushrooms. The guys sat quiet after they had eaten the mushrooms, apparently in anticipation of the looming trip, or possibly because the TV was tuned into The Simpsons, and Lana went back to pacing around the cabin. After 10 minutes or so, while she was thinking of ditching all the guys for good, Lana found herself opening the door for Ricardo, who had pounded upon it and then, upon entrance, collapsed onto the floor, clutching a dead sheep in his arms. Lana held her breath.
What the fuck?
Cortez shouted. Ontario jumped out of his seat and retreated into the kitchen.
What the fuck is that?
Cortez said.
It's called a sheep.
Ricardo explained from his back on the floor.
Why is it dead?
Brandon asked. Ricardo looked up at Lana, casually said,
Because I murdered it for its meat.
Lana said,
But you have plenty of food here. We, actually ate some of it.
Ricardo squinted in glee. What?
Oh my gosh. I figured you would. Punk rock.
That brought an inch of tension out of the situation. Ontario came back into the living room, and he, Cortez, and Brandon helped the cabin's owner bring the sheep into the kitchen area. Ontario grabbed the bottle of red wine he had opened when Ricardo came in, drank, and to Ontario, Ricardo didn't seem to mind. The mushrooms had not yet taken effect on the three who had eaten them. Lana and Ricardo started talking and flirting while he began to slaughter. She informing him of the other three's recent ingestions, he appearing cool, calm, and confident in a state of reposeful conversation. Ontario found the killing and cleaning of the sheep quite unsettling and wondered where the gift really was. He then found his mind directing him elsewhere in the cabin. Watching the freshly fallen snow change colors back and forth between translucent blue, black green, and egg white, Brandon stood on the cabin's porch thinking about the difference between what one does while subconsciously aware of his actions and what one does while under the influence of mind-altering substances. He had momentarily forgotten that he had taken mushrooms. Faintly, he could hear odd movements behind him, inside a structure, however that meant that it was apart from him, possibly quarreling like cats. There was no difference. His mind and all the others, everywhere, were thinking the same thing, were feeling the same energies simultaneously. It seemed like nonsense on the other side, orange and yellow fighting each other, red just watching. He hummed to himself and was almost glad he had chosen to meet with Elizabeth the next afternoon, instead of getting dropped off in Flagstaff on the way to the cabin, clear. All felt well and issued correctly to him. The snow began again to fall. Brandon ignored the calamity that was sure to be taking place in that side. Blue. He had no acid. Ricardo persuaded Lana to private away to his room. There lay upon the living room table, amongst empty beers, fully loaded bongs and pipes, wine bottles, ashtrays, books, and burnt-out cigarettes, a baggie of very strong LSD. Cortez grabbed it and held it up to the light. What is that supposed to do? Ontario asked.
I'm looking at it.
Should we take some? This guy's kind of a douche. I'm surprised you found it.
I know, right? You can take some. I'm still tripping, but fuck it. Eat.
Okay. Ontario opened the small plastic bag and took out 3 of the dozens of tabs. That should be good, he said. He placed the tabs underneath his tongue and let them dissolve. Cortez took a big shot of rum, slugged his beer, and also ate 3 tabs of the LSD. Ontario laughed with him and they high-fived. Both were tore open on the already imbibed mushrooms.
I can't believe it's still dark.
Cortez said.
What time is it?
Can't read my phone. I don't know. Fuck that concert. Cortez laughed.
I know, right? Me either.
He pointed at Ontario's phone, saw its digits, colors spiraling inward, and they both burst up laughing together, having shared the hallucination. Lana was in the bedroom with Ricardo and grew more anxious by the second. She'd almost rather prefer the awkward silence that had been incurred by Ontario, saying he knew she loved him at the start of the trip, than be dominated by this backward psychotic now ranting and controlling the situation she was in. This was not the dominance she had been looking for. At least she could yell back at short Ontario. This tall, fit, and drunk Ricardo kept tossing small objects around and cussing at her in the face. He undermined all she held sacred. He made her feel defenseless and without any instinct. It were as though she could collapse into his authority and survive effortlessly for the rest of her life, how he saw it. Though a beating might be something to take every now and then. She wished she had not come to the cabin, to Arizona at all, if this bastard was going to do what he was doing and implying what he implied. He then lunged at her. She, in her strength, held him back and said to him,
So what do you want to
She, in her strength, held him back and said to him, He put down the lamp he held, sat down next to her, and said,
Is this Ricardo?
Ricardo, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
This guy's
he put down the lamp he held, sat down next to her, and said, Okay, I'm assuming you said it. Okay, I couldn't hear anything. All right, hold on. This is where it gets really uncomfortable. Okay. She felt the threat. She knew he was full of harmful intent. She felt the threat. She knew he was full of harmful intent. To disorient him, she got him naked through sexual beguilement and then, straddling him, hit him as hard as she could in the face with a candle that rested on his nightstand, which appeared to knock him unconscious. She rushed out to the living room where she found Brandon, Cortez, and Ontario rushing to her, grabbing her, and putting her in the backseat of her own car outside. She, in an explosion of emotion, told the 3 what had just happened. Ontario went to run inside, but Cortez grabbed him, stopping him, the acid starting to take hold on both. They looked to Brandon, who sobered in the instant, and instructed everyone to get in the car. They all followed suit. Navigating through the trees and drifting around the bends, Brandon held fast onto the steering wheel, wiping hallucinations out of his eyes, as Lana wept uncontrollably in the front passenger's seat. Cortez and Ontario, the only ones to have taken the acid, had split the baggie in half and were secretly waiting for the right chance to give some to Lana and Brandon. The thought of Lana having bludgeoned Ricardo was merely a glimmer of humor compared to the bliss they all could potentially feel. It bothered everyone in the car, but it was like it was more deserved than it was outright premeditated homicide. Yet, they fled for their lives, tripping. Did he try to rape you? Ontario yelled.
Yes.
Lana replied. Well, what the fuck? Should we not turn around and finish it?
No.
Why not?
Because we said so.
Cortez interjected. They all looked puzzled at him.
Look, if we go back now, and I know Lana didn't kill him, if we go back now, we'll just go back to the same old bullshit all over again. And besides, that's just you talking crazy on drugs. I think we should all relax, give love to Lana. Lana, you're awesome and we love you. I'm sorry what happened. I don't think you killed him or anything. He has plenty of food and drink. He'll come to to, and be fine. Now let's move on. You didn't kill him. Trust.
The four sat silent for a moment. Lana said,
Thank you. But how do you know that?
Cortez had a twitch in an arm muscle and said quietly,
You're just not strong enough.
Lana summoned all her strength back and power and screamed,
Fuck you.
turned in the front passenger seat and struck her fist out at Cortez, who blocked them with his palms from the back left. Ontario watched tendrils of energy emit off of Lana, move down and then up the upholstery of the driver's seat and crawl effortlessly from the roof into his own and all fours skin.
We can't stay here. This
Bliss filled everything. At that instant, he knew Lana hadn't killed Ricardo, not because of her physical strength, but because it was impossible that a candle, flimsy and burnt, could have stopped a life as large as Ricardo's. He had seen the candle in the room. It held no killing capability. Still, it was very smart to leave him, like Cortez said. He was clearly a rapist, no matter how any of them told the story. Let him rock or awake alone on the outskirt of civilization. The inconsiderate and selfish bastard that he was. That is enlightenment. You guys aren't roasting.
This is going to be roasted after this.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. You're right. Good move. They hurried back to Flagstaff and checked all into one room at the Grand Canyon Hotel. It was now 4 in the morning. Ontario and Lana shared a bed while Brandon had his own and Cortez chose to stay on the floor near the bathroom. They smoked weed and drank some alcohol, watched The Sopranos on HBO, and chose to believe for a moment no one had died. All except Lana were still under the influence of the psychedelics in the final stages when the insight comes forth like the blossoming of the flower of life or one's own rebirth into consciousness. It's snowing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got so into it.
No, that's just me still recovering right now, man. I'm hocking cookies left and right. It's all good.
Knowing again.
Lana said, peering outside around 5.
What should we do now?
He smiled at the guys. The three burst out laughing simultaneously.
Nothing.
No, said Brandon, beaming.
It's fucking perfect.
Cortez said,
Let's all fall asleep at the same time.
I agree, Ontario said, but I'm still tripping.
Yeah.
Said Lana.
But what the fuck?
Ontario asked, what?
Let me.
Yep.
We're just supposing I didn't kill him.
You didn't.
Said Cortez.
And that's okay. I'm sorry for hitting you. But we're also supposing leaving him in the middle of the forest isn't immoral? That seems like a contradiction to me.
She looked at Ontario in their bed.
Yeah.
Couldn't help but want to weep at the sight of her eyes, the streetlight reflecting yellow and brown frustration from her at him. Yeah, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking shit. Yeah.
That's how I was in drama class in high school. I couldn't get through anything.
So we should just go back.
Fuck. Brandon's sleeping again.
Shouted Lana. Ontario stood up out of the bed, clutching his temples for a minute. Then, with a sudden flash of biological geometric synchronicity, felt compelled to take charge of the present circumstance. We're going to get that asshole back, and you, Lana, want to nurture him back to health? Do I understand this correctly?
Yeah. More or less. I mostly just want to not leave him stranded.
I say that this is a stupid mission. We should leave him stranded, and you should learn how to let go. He looked her in the eye. Dummy. Sorry. He braced himself, apparently having wanted confrontation. She screamed. Fuck you. And stormed out of the room. The other two had just scoffed, and Ontario told them what she had just told him. They both gave him a thumbs up. He heard the starting of a car and ran outside. It was not Lana's, but she did happen to be involved in some sort of interaction with a vagrant stalking the vacant sidewalk. He was obviously trying to run a game on Lana, and yet she looked as if she chose to go along with it, apparently wanting to be seduced by some transient there in Flagstaff, or anywhere, for that matter. Ontario separated the two with force. Lana yelled and called him names and ran back to the room, slamming the door. Before he could look, the suspicious man had disappeared. Ontario returned to the room, laid down in the bed with Lana, and put his arm around her. She wrapped herself around him, and the four of them all finally fell asleep at the same exact time, much later in the morning. The snow fell, and the city of Flagstaff stood. Right before they fell asleep, Lana looked Ontario in the eye and said,
"It's going to be a long weekend."
The end.
Scene. But yeah, good shit.
All right. That was horribly embarrassing. Thanks for coming along with me on that journey.
Oh, absolutely.
It didn't feel like writing a bunch of questions and topics and stuff. We had no guests. I was like, I have prepared material.
Yeah.
Let's just make fun of it. Okay, guys, 1, 2, 3. Why does it suck? Why is it good?
Because I'm getting fired.
Because he's getting fired, guys. No, there are some like endearing moments in here and stuff like that. Just certain like text I found like humorous and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
Remember, I was 27 when I wrote that, and my dad had just died.
27.
And I was drunk and taking a lot of psychedelics at the time.
He was drunk and taking a lot of psychedelics. A real writer over here. real Jack Kerouac over here. Did you go enjoy a piece of apple pie too when you were done?
I like to sprinkle sand onto my hot dogs.
Ugh, gross. He had a lot of apple pie with cheese on it too. Let's just talk about On the Road by Jack Kerouac.
That's the thing. I like Jack Kerouac, but I couldn't get through that book.
I did actually end up reading that fucking book, and it was not a easy read.
Right?
Nah, it wasn't. Some of his other writing is a lot more digestible, but that book itself was very, very much a different one. But I see elements of Kerouac. I see elements of Hunter S. Thompson in your writing too, right here, sir. You know, so as soon as you were talking about tripping, all I could think about is just the Johnny Depp monologue. That we can't stay here. This is Bat Country when the mescaline takes effect and shit. So
right. Yeah, they're both big influences.
I liked how Brandon was very short and sweet.
Just like in real life.
I guess so. But have you met me now? He's married.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Life has changed for everyone. But yeah, short story stuff, man. I cringe at anything I have like written previously or anything like that. So I feel you on that, Josh, like 100%.
Yeah, it's like bombing. I basically bombed for like an hour, and I forced you guys to bomb.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's all in good fun. It's all good fun, sir. But yeah, so
I'm having fun. Did you guys at least enjoy doing that? I thought that was fun.
Excuse me, lots of mucus and shit still. Yeah, I enjoyed it. We definitely could have
character. Yeah, the character acting was awesome.
Oh yeah, Jesse stole the show, 100%. I hope.
Yeah, totally.
I hope your fucking lines came through.
I think I could have done a hell of a lot better.
Well, when's the last time you acted anything or even thought about it?
Probably never.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason I was able to get through this was because I used to sell poems and stories to people, so I've like done this. I know. I'm just saying. If this was written by anyone else, like that I knew personally, like if I was in your guys' shoes, like it, so embarrassed for me. I don't know.
Man, I wish I just had more time to rehearse. When it comes to just trying to know exactly where that kink is in the cable, and then you can cut it out.
Nice.
You gotta resolder it.
Or you can just reconnect the both ends, but whatever you want to do.
And you just know that? You didn't go to school to learn that?
No, I just watch videos and read.
Smart.
And,
Oh, jeez. Oh.
obsessed.
Josh jealous.
Yeah, I read things. So fucking novel. No pun intended.
Yeah. No, that.
Oh, no pun intended.
Okay. Well, that went by pretty fast. Okay. I'm gonna further embarrass myself by doing the reading a different story on my solo podcast, which is also attached to the YouTube channel.
You got a solo one?
Solo podcast.
You know what? I'm gonna bring that up with you guys.
Now you tell us.
Now you tell us. He's firing us
Well,
on the spot, guys. I fucking knew this day was coming. God, fuck you, Josh. Real piece of shit over here, my guy. All right.
Oh.
I knew this was gonna happen. Fuck, I'm out of here, guys.
What?
Come on, Josh. Yes, and
Sorry. I was thinking, and I'm also scrolling. So this is
we're best friends over here, guys.
nice.
I'm married, sir.
I am too, technically.
Technically. Oh shit! Do you want us to watch your stream over here?
I'll show you real quick what it is or what it has been. Can you see it?
Not. Oh, hold on. Hair down. Yeah, I see it. I see the thumbnail.
Okay, so here is episode 3.
Oh yeah. That's right. I've seen this on your short form. I've seen this on the short form content.
No, it's just been really stupid short shit.
Mahalo.
This is what happens when you're a single dad living in isolation.
Really taking it easy. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm talking about, brother. That's right. Okay, episode 2 is 53 seconds. You get the gist.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. I was feeling frisky last night, and I was like, I'm gonna record myself doing a different one of my stories.
We didn't watch the whole
I thought I'd be more drunk.
Go back, play the whole thing. What the fuck?
Oh,
I was enjoying those.
here's episode 1.
Instead of like a quick little song, you got a quick little video. You know? I like it.
Yeah. It's just kind of like filler and like something to do.
Are you sure?
Like, why not just?
Are you sharing your screen again?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Share the screen, man.
There we go.
So that's me looking at a montage of my trip to Europe and seeing if that would be a good idea for a background for this podcast. And it wasn't, so I didn't do it. So experimenting with light.
Yeah.
That's music provided by Microsoft Player or whatever it's called. Media Player. Messing with video here. Getting really technical. There's a mummy. Sort of watching things, sort of vibing, you know?
Really feeling yourself there, Josh.
Yeah. That's my Kill Tony shirt.
Yeah.
Thinking, you know? Always thinking. And sometimes you got it.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Fantastic.
I have no other hobbies. I don't want to play my guitar. It's too loud anyways. My kid's sleeping. I just gotta fucking keep myself busy.
Keep talking.
I mean, you get an electric guitar and just plug into your computer.
Very true.
True, I could do that. I don't want to though.
Well, I mean, that's the situation you're in. We jam Econo, right?
Sick reference.
That means we're for real, though, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Calling you out, bro. Plug your shit in.
Do it.
Okay, well.
One donut to rule them all.
This has been the Let's Ruin Our Lives podcast. Thank you for joining us on our Macabre story event here.
Yeah, moral of the story.
Joining me today.
Don't go to Flagstaff expecting to do acid.
And don't hang out with hippies.
And don't buy audio shit on Amazon.
Or Temu.
Morgan.
Wish.com's fine.
Sleep Serta. Serta mattress.
This sort of mattress, the beds that go up and down.
Yeah, we are sponsored by Purple.
Not true. So that has been Jesse Archambault, who voiced Lana and Ricardo, Brandon Richardson, who voiced Brandon and Cortez, and me, as always, your faithful narrator, Josh Hensley. I was Ontario, and the guy who told that story. Thank you on this most hallowed of nights. We'll see you again next time. Please like, follow, and subscribe for the love of God. Good night.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Done.
Wa Pee-wee, au revoir.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
You never seen
Pee-wee's yeah.
Big Adventure?
I caught that reference.
Hell yeah.
Love that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
All right. I'm going to hit stop recording right now. Josh, hold on. I can't hear you yet, so give me a second.
Getting pissed at high tides, chewing up like cyanide. Please don't revive. Let's ruin our lives. Some pills in acid, nails in my casket. That sounds romantic. Just ruin our lives. I wake at 3 with the G, with the bottle of lean, special glass with my veins for the people to see. Freaking out, you know me, almost counts on the scene. Suitcase full of cash from selling cocaine. Got it in my gut to live without a fuck to give, and I might cut a pig. Such a run, she's